Hi friends, today we are going to cover managing common and local users. So basically, uh, in this practice, we will examine principles that govern managing the common and local users in CDBs and PDBs. Specifically, we will learn how to manage common users, how to manage local users, how to manage common and local roles, granting privileges as common or local, enabling common users to view information about specific PDBs. So basically, we have two types of users in multi-tenant architecture. One is the common user and the other is the local user. The common user is created in the root and it is accessible. The common user can access all the PDBs, including the root. Whereas local users are created in the PDB locally, and it can access that particular PDB locally, but it cannot access the other PDBs. So the application users that we use are local users, and SIS and system are two predefined common users. We can create common users by name of C hash hash. So common users name should start with C hash hash. Okay, so first CDB1 in MRV1 database is up and running. That's the assumption. So we will bring up the MRV1 server and the database. So MRV1 will start. So MRV1 server is started up. So we will log into PuTTY. We'll start the listener. Then we will start up the database. Okay, database open. So next step is we'll run this query. So these are the common users. These are the common users, and these are all Oracle maintained. So we don't have any user-defined common users. All are Oracle maintained common users. Create a common user and grant commonly the create session privilege to it. So let's create a common user. User created. Then we'll grant create session privilege. And now we can connect to the common user to the CDB. We are connecting through the common user to the CDB connected. We will try to connect to the PDB, so that is also connected. So as you can see, the common users created can connect to the CDB as well as to the PDB. Try to creating a local users. Try creating a block back to the root and try creating a local users in this root container. Creation of a local user role is not allowed in this container. Okay. Create another common user C ## user 2 and grant create session as a local privilege to the user. Granting a local privilege to common users is not recommended practice. It is added in this practice only for demonstration purpose. So if we create another common user, so if we run this query, this is granted locally. We should not grant locally, this is not a good practice, but you can technically do that, but as a practice you should not do it. Here the container clause is not there, so the default value of current is being used. Try connecting to the root and PDB2 by this common user. So we'll try to connect. So PDB2 when we try to connect, it says lacks create session privilege because the privilege was granted locally to the common user. But if we try now, if we try to connect to root, this time it connects because the privilege was granted locally to the common users. Then drop the common user. Then drop the common user. Connect as DBA. Drop users C ## user 2. Drop users C ## user 2. Okay, user dropped. That's about common users. Managing local users. In the following step, you will examine the principles of creating and managing local users. So we'll run this query. We'll find out what are the local users currently present in the database. we have only PDB2 admin. That is the only local user that is there in the system right now. We will do orchestration set to PDB2, and then we will create a local user. We'll create a local user. User created. We'll give brand create session to the local user. And successful. Try creating a common user. Try creating a common user. Common details allowed in the root. So it's not allowing to create a common user in the PDB2. Connect to PDB2, PDB3 and CDB. So first try to connect to PDB2 as a user. PDB2 it connects. Next let us connect to PDB3. Database not open. Okay, database not open, but actually it won't be able to connect because it's a local user. Try connecting to root. So it says invalid username password logon denied. So it is not able to connect either to PDB3 or root. It can only connect to the PDB2 instance where the local user was created. That's about common users. Managing common and local roles. In the following steps, you will examine the principles of creating and managing common and local roles and assigning them to the user. List all the predefined roles in CDB or common and local roles of root and PDBs. So first connect /sysdba. Connected. Then we have to run this query. So these are the roles. These are the roles that are present. These are all common roles that I can see. There is no local role. List the roles defined in the roles. All the roles are common roles. You cannot create local roles in the root. So let's run this query. These are all common rules. You cannot define local rules in the root. Create a common rule C # role1. The role will be referred to as common rule in the rest of the practice. So let's create a common rule. Create role container all. Role created. Try to create a local rule named L role in the root. Try to create a local rule. Creation of local role, user role is not allowed in this container. So it failed. List all predefined roles in PDB2. So 90 roles has been selected. Predefined roles in PDB2. Create a local role in PDB2. The role will be defined as local role in the rest of the practice. So we will create a local role. Role created, and we'll run this command. Enroll PDB2. Okay. Then grant the common role to a common user in the root. So we can grant role to the user. We can grant a common role to a common user. And succeeded. Connect connect as the common user. Connected and select start from session roles. The role that we have granted is present here. Grant the common role to common user from root as common to be applicable to all containers. So as you can see, what are the roles that are present to C hash hash user 1. C hash hash user 1, there is a common role. C hash hash user 1 in PDB4, there is a common role. Connect as common user to check the connect as common user to the root and check out the applicable role. Connect as common user to root and check out the application applicable role. C hash hash role 1. Connect as common user to PDB2 and check the applicable roles. Let's connect to PDB2 state applicable rule. You can see the same rule is there. Remove the common rule from the common user so that the rule cannot be used in any container. So we will connect Access DBA and we revoke CSS role from CSS user1 container is equal to all. So we are revoking container is equal to all. So the common role is, this is a local role, this is a local role, locally granted, but the common role is not present. Remove the local role also and then run this query again. Now there is no row selected. So we have revoked the commonly granted role and the locally granted role. Verify again, connect C#. Verify again, connect C# Oracle and select from session roles. No role selected. If we go to PDB2 and we run select star from session roles, no role selected. Next is grant common role to a local user in PDB. Grant common role to a local user in PDB. PDB2. So we'll connect system Oracle at PDB2. Connect. Then we'll grant locally. We granted a common role locally to a local user. So we can see CSS role 1 is present for L user 2. Now let's connect to L user 2 in PDB2 and select star from session rules. So you can see CSS role 1 is present. Grant a local role to a local user. Grant a local role to a local user. Connect system at PDB2. Grant local role L role PDB2 to L user 2. Let's see that. So we have the common role as well as the local role granted to L user 2. Okay, let's connect to L user 2 PDB2. these two roles are present. Granting privileges as common or local. In this practice, you will manage privileges granted as common or local in CDB and PDBs. Check how the system privilege create session was granted to C ## user 1 and L user 2 users. There is nothing called common privilege or local privilege. Privileges are neither common or local, but they can be granted as common or as local. So let's connect. So create session for L user 2 has been granted locally, but for C ## user 1 have been granted as a common in both the cases in PDB in Pon ID 1 and Pon ID 4. System with PDB 2 and let's run this. Let's find out the privileges. We have only create session privilege. Grant system privilege, create table and unlimited table space to common user C ## user 1 to be applicable in any container. A privilege commonly granted. This is known as commonly granted privilege. So we'll connect a system oracle and we will grant create table unlimited table space to C ## user 1 container all. So grant succeeded. Next we run this query. So unlimited table space in container 1 and container 4, create table in container 1 and container 4. So these are the privileges that we have just granted commonly. Next, grant the system privilege create session to common user C ## user 1 to be applicable in the root only. A privilege locally granted. So let's locally grant a privilege. Container is equal to current. That clause means it's a locally granted privilege. Then again, if we run this query, so only one row is returned. and that is in the root container. So it's only locally granted. Grant system privilege creates synonym to common user C hashes user 1 to be applicable in PDB2, a privilege locally granted. So let's connect to PDB2. Then create synonym. Then let's run this query. So this also returns one row, and this time the con ID is 4. That is, it's only present in PDB2. Grant system privilege unlimited table space to local user L user 2 to be applicable in PDB2 only. So connect system PDB2. So we are in PDB2, so we are granting locally unlimited table space. And let's run this query. So for L user 2, it has two privilege, unlimited table space and create session privilege. And both are in con ID 4, that is PDB2. Next is enabling common users to view information about specific PDB. In this section of the practice, we will manage container data attributes of common users to control what information common user can view about the PDB object in specific PDB. Display the default user label and object specific container data attributes for container data objects. And it's slash /sysdva and container data object and run this query. Create a common users and commonly granted privilege creates and set container to it. Create a common users C hash user 2. Create a common user created. Grant create session set container to C hash to container 1. Grant succeeded. Grant the object privilege success select on bid on the session view to C hash user 2. Grant select on sys dot v dollar session v underscore dollar session container all. Create a second session connected to PDB2 as user sys. create a second session connected to PDB2 as user says. Second session. So we'll have to open PuTTY MRG1. This is the second session. In the first session, you should see one row for the PDB. Let's run this. First session, if we run this, we can see sys conid4 one session because we have connected to PDB2 the sixth session. Still in the first session you are connected to as a common user C hash user 1. So the common user does not see any information in $v session related to PDB2. Connect C hash user 2 oracle. So run this query. Sys hash user 2. Enable common user C hash user 2 to see information in $v session related to PDB2. Connect slash sysdba. Then contra user. Now connect as common user. Now execute the same query. Now you can see the PDB2 user is also, session is also shown. Then you can drop the users and the roles to clean up the environment. So that's pretty much about local users and common users and the commonly granted privilege and locally granted privilege. Thanks guys. Bye.